Kevin Stefanski was asked this question, and it's an interesting one. How do you balance playing to your strengths versus playing what the defense knows you're going to do? And it was specifically about running the football with Nick Chubb because the Browns know they're a running team and the Raiders knowing that they're going to run the ball. Here's Kevin Stefanski on that balance.
There's so many variables at play there, and obviously Nick being a big variable, but you're just thinking about matchups, each position that you have versus them. But to say that you're always going to run it there, that's just not the case. There's always different avenues you can go in those drives. But ultimately, we didn't come through. So it's frustrating to all of us. I know it's frustrating to the players, the coaches, and we have high expectations on ourselves to come through in big moments. But we didn't get it done last night.
And again, I can't argue with putting the ball in Nick Chubb's hands 3 times in that situation, given the fact, and I know he played well, but when you look at it, are you going to put the ball in your third-string quarterback's hands, Nick Mullins, or your all-pro running back's hands? And if you want to argue either way, I'll listen to it, but I'm not going to second-guess either of those decisions.
Right, because we have seen teams win this season, as I've been saying, this season with attempting 3 passes or completing 3 passes and only I have that wrong. Either attempting only 3 passes like the Patriots did in a victory and only completing 5 passes like the Colts did in a victory. So you can do it all different kinds of ways. You can win with running the ball a million times in unconventional ways. So it's really not that. It's about executing the play in the moment, and they just weren't able to do that. And I do think that maybe if they had their full complement of guys, maybe things would have been different. I also have to wonder, and we won't know the answer to this. We probably won't know the answer to this. He was asked it today, would you have done something different there? Now, there's no way he's going to throw Alex Van Pelt under the bus in that situation. Not going to happen. But you'd have to think that maybe Kevin Stefanski would have called that a little bit differently, although Baker Mayfield has accused him of running a conservative game plan. But I still think that there would have been at least one pass or something else in there that would have mixed it up a little bit.
Yeah, but if you were going to give somebody the responsibility of calling plays, the last thing in the world you should do, that would be like somebody looking over your shoulder while you're writing a story, or somebody looking over my shoulder while I'm doing the show. It's like, if you want me to do the show, let me do the show. And so if you want to let him call the plays, let him call the plays. The one thing I would say, there were some execution issues in that 2-minute defense that kind of popped up, specifically letting a guy get out of bounds, splitting 2 defenders on a 2nd and 11. That right there was the play that I thought, ooh, this is not good.
Yeah, and you know what? Here's the thing, though, about in the course of a football game, you're going to have those kinds of execution issues. When I look at the Raiders in that game, they had far worse execution throughout most of the game than the Cleveland Browns did. I was keeping track of dropped passes. I think they dropped 6 passes. Now, DPJ struggled in the first half of that game, but for the Raiders, in the first 3 quarters of that game, Derek Carr was making some really fine throws, and they were just dropping them. Deshaun Jackson had that one where he was wide open, and there were others. There were numerous others by their tight ends, and, of course, he didn't have Darren Waller. They muffed the ball twice. They fumbled the ball twice. They threw an interception. They had 4 holding calls. So you want to talk about lack of execution during a football game. But in the end, in the clutch, when it's time to go down and win the football game, Derek Carr was able to do that. I mean, he was able to do that. So, I think it's one thing that the Cleveland Browns really still have to learn how to do is close out those close football games. They haven't done it this year.